The views and opinions
and otherwise wisecrack remarks
in this podcast
are solely those
of our highly caffeinated hosts.
They do not represent the opinions
of Fairchild Air Force Base leadership,
the 92nd Public Affairs Office,
or the United States Air Force.
Any reference to commercial products, companies, or services does not imply federal endorsement.
You've been warned.
Boom, 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 boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Come on, here comes the ready or not.
Welcome to the Boom. I'm Staff Sergeant D.J. Ayres with my co-host,
Tech Sergeant Brian Bender,
with another edition of the Boom.
Rather exciting edition. Well, actually, I should say rather momentous. Duly momentous. Today's my birthday. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. But the funny thing is, this is airing on my birthday, but I'm not actually here. It's just the spirit.
He's doing ghost hands right now. You can't see that because, of course, this is audio only.
Also, momentous occasion because it is the last episode of The Boom for Staff Sergeant Ayres.
It's kind of sad. I'm going to miss it.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
This has been a regular weekly tradition for the time I've been here, when I haven't been gone. So it's definitely gonna, I'm gonna have that void. Maybe I can fill that in Korea. Maybe I'll do a podcast in Korea. That'd be kind of cool.
Sad yet happy. Maybe duly sad just because of the age I'm turning. I don't know. Anyways, we won't go there. So, we just came off of a 3-day weekend. We had Valentine's Day on Saturday, and then Monday was President's Day. What did you do for Valentine's Day?
I kept it pretty simple. Me and my wife, for those of you that don't know, which is everyone, we are taking 2 foster children, and so we had to get our house ready for that, and baby-proof and do all that kind of thing. So we kept it simple for Valentine's Day. I just ran out and picked up some chilies, and I got her some chocolates, and it was really low-key. And then on President's Day, we went out and caught a movie, went and saw Kingsman, which is it's a pretty good movie. Action, has some comedy in there too. I enjoyed it a lot. What did you do?
Well, for Valentine's Day, as we all heard on Friday the 13th, I'm really not a big fan of Valentine's Day, so...
Cheap.
So, basically, it was a very busy day on Saturday. My wife was helping out with a play being put on by the Spokane Children's Youth Theater, and then my oldest daughter was in an all-state choir competition. So I was basically home all day with the other 2 children and getting the house clean and that type of thing. So I want to say I did my duty that way.
And for some women, that's even better than chocolate and flowers. So you may get some kudos from some, and others, cheapo guy from the rest. But I think that's a pretty good thing.
I think it also helps that I'm a neat freak, so...
Oh, so your OCD actually aids in that.
It actually helped me out then. And then on President's Day, we took the day to clean out our garage as we're getting ready to PCS as well. And we've got a whole pile of stuff that's going to go out in bulk trash, which will be interesting because usually when bulk trash goes out in the middle of the night, you've got people driving around in their pickup trucks picking through your trash to figure out, what type of things you're wanting to get rid of that they could salvage, which is okay by me, but I hate it when they, don't do it neatly. And next thing you know, your neat pile of trash is spread all over the lawn and the street.
Maybe you should separate it on the corner, This is actual trash, and this could be conceived as treasure.
I just line it up along the curb, and that way they can pick from it nice and neatly.
There you go. Well, anyway, let's get into today's topics. The leave is going to change, your max leave.
That's right. If you've got months of stockpiled leave, you may want to start planning on some vacations. I know myself, I usually don't take much leave. In fact, I actually get nervous when my leave days drop below, believe it or not, when they drop below 55. I start getting nervous.
That's insane. I don't think I've ever even accumulated that much. But then again, your family is all with you. I have to go travel to see my family, so I have to use those leave days.
Right, and it's been a while that we've been used to, and at least I've been used to, having a whole ton of leave days. Since 2008, we've been able to carry up to 75 days of leave into the next fiscal year. But that will soon end October 1st of this year when fiscal year 2015 ends. And most airmen with more than 60 days of leave are going to lose those extra days.
Is there any justification for that, of why the days are changing?
Well, the Pentagon enacted the 75-day leave carryover policy in 2008 to help alleviate the stress brought on by our high ops tempo, causing many service members to lose leave anyways. So they allowed you to accumulate a couple more days throughout the year, and like rollover minutes, you had rollover leave. But now that we've officially ended wartime operations or whatever, we're going to get back down to the 60 days usually.
That's a little odd because the ISIS situation. I mean, but I guess it's not as demanding. We're not using as many troops. We still have a flying campaign, going that direction, but we don't have any ground troops or setting up any FOBs or anything like that. So I could see where they're coming from, but I guess it'll affect the flyers. So if you've got that leave, take it when you can.
And while you're taking that leave, you might want to check out this year's Chief of Staff of the Air Force's reading list. And this comes out every year, and basically the Chief of Staff, as well as the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, they get together and they kind of compile their recommendations for reading lists. And the books that they suggest to read, usually 9 times out of 10, are military-related or leadership-related. And so this year, some of the books include a story called Once an Eagle. Now, this is kind of an old book. It was published way back in 1968, and it tells the story of a soldier and his adversary over a lifetime, and how the one soldier is professional and puts duty and honor and the men he commands above his self-interests, while his adversary is very shady and sneaky and makes connections behind closed doors and in Washington's corridors of power. So it's kind of a very good versus evil type of battle. And believe it or not, the book, again, Once an Eagle, is required reading for West Point and Marine Corps cadets. Now, that's a little too, I don't know, if you're more of the nonfiction type of person and want to focus more on leadership, there's plenty of those books as well. There's a book called The Linchpin, Are You Indispensable? This was published a couple years ago, and it used to be that there were 2 teams in every workplace. There was your management team and your labor team. Well, this book explores that there's a 3rd team called the linchpins. And these people figure out what to do when there's no rule book. They delight and challenge their customers and their peers, and they're essential building blocks of great organizations. They may not be famous, but they are indispensable. And in today's world, they're the ones that are happiest in their jobs.
I'm sure those are mostly the, out-of-the-box thinkers, too. That how can we attack this problem from a different angle?
How can we make both sides happy? Because usually you do have that management fighting with the laborers, and, you need those people in the middle who are able to take, the best of both worlds.
I think they're called tech sergeants.
Why, thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, I didn't say you. No, I'm just kidding.
Burn! Another book is a book called Undaunted, published in 2013, and it is a book talking about a group of people that rarely get thought of when we talk about war and combat, and that is the females. Since 9/11, more than 240,000 women service members have fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, and more than 140 have died there. And currently they make up 14% of the total active duty forces. So despite advances, today's servicewomen are constantly pressured to prove themselves and to overcome challenges men never face, and to put the military mission ahead of all aspects of their lives. So this is just a book that I believe our leaders want us to read, so that we, in today's world, know that there no longer has to be a battle of the sexes within the service itself.
And even if you're not a woman, this, from a male's perspective, this can maybe give you a little bit of an insight in what our female service members deal with, and their point of views, and maybe spark some conversation to, kind of see what's like on the other side. A lot of times us male types, are only focused on it's just the mission, and, we don't see things from both angles.
So there's plenty of books out there on leadership, on true stories. If you want to find out more about the Chief of Staff's reading list, find it on the portal. But also, most people overlook the fact that he even includes films, movies that he feels would benefit us to watch. One of those movies is Das Boot.
Das Boot, a good submarine movie. Happens to be all in German, though. It does have subtitles.
And then I think also when they re-released it, though, because it was originally made in the 80s, all German, like you said, but I think when they re-released it, they made a version where it was dubbed over with the same actors, just speaking English this time.
Really? I guess I didn't see. The only version I know of is the one where it's subtitled.
But anyways, for those of you who don't know what Das Boot is, it's spelled D-A-S, Boot, B-O-O-T, and it's about the German U-boats during World War II and all the nasty things that they were up to in the Atlantic Ocean. And one of my all-time favorite movies, Glory.
An excellent film with a really star-studded cast. We got, Denzel Washington, Matthew Broderick, Morgan Freeman, Cary Elwes, which I didn't know how to say that until I looked this up. You may know him from The Princess Bride.
As you wish.
Inconceivable!
I do not think that means what you think it means. Anyways, Glory, one of the finest films ever made about the Civil War. It tells the story of the 54th Regiment of the Massachusetts Voluntary Infantry, an all-black unit comprised of Northern freemen and escaped slaves. If you have not seen this movie, stop what you're doing and watch it tonight. It is amazing.
And I think it might even be on Netflix.
It could be. If it is, check it out on Netflix. If not, I'd say go to Blockbuster or something, but those are ancient ruins.
On a side note, that's one thing I don't like about Redbox and these other renting organization box things is they don't have the older movies. So you really have to either rent them or buy them, like from your cable provider, or sometimes like Amazon Prime and stuff has that.
Or just be watching, for AMC or pretty soon these will probably be TMC type movies, depending on their age.
Yeah, and they come on the regular cable every now and again. I know I've seen Glory on regular cable.
Another movie, film, actually I believe I don't think this came out in theaters. I think it was actually a TV movie, is Taking Chance.
That was in the theaters.
I don't remember it in the theaters.
It wasn't a big movie.
Okay, Taking Chance stars Kevin Bacon, and it's based on real-life events where Kevin Bacon plays a Marine officer who is returning a 19-year-old Marine, escorting the remains back to his family and going across country, and all the people who he meets that knew this fallen Marine, and it's just a really I don't want to say heartwarming, but it definitely is. It tugs on your heartstrings and really has that patriotic feel and awe and remembrance and honoring all of our fallen brothers and sisters. And lastly on the list is The Pacific, the epic 10-part miniseries.
So have you seen Band of Brothers? This is made by the same people. HBO did this one as well, but it focuses on Marines in the Pacific during World War II.
In my mind, not as good as Band of Brothers, but still equally as you could go through all 10 episodes in a weekend, no problem. I mean, it really will keep you interested and keep you totally involved in each and every character, all the way from them starting out in basic and in boot, and then all through the various battles, Guadalcanal, Iwo Jima. And
it's just as impactful, but I feel like, I don't know, World War II in Europe is more romantic than, in the eyes of the viewers, and then say the Pacific.
And watching this, though, you really do feel for these guys because not only are they fighting a fierce enemy, as the Japanese were back in World War II, but they're fighting the elements. There's a part where they're in the Battle of Guadalcanal, and it's nothing but rain, humidity, and mosquitoes the whole time, and these guys are just miserable.
And I do think that the Pacific is a little more edgy than the Band of Brothers series is, too. So, just a little different, but definitely worth watching. I'd say check it out. And I know if you want to purchase them, I've seen them coupled together. If you don't own the Band of Brothers series, you can get that and the Pacific on Blu-ray or DVD or something like that.
So switching gears now, totally coming away from the Chief of Staff recommendation for books and movies. Has anybody heard that they are, for lack of a better word, reinventing basic training?
I'm not sure what to think about this. I was all about them increasing, it was Warrior Week when we went through it. Now it's Beast Week. I like them having, it's 2 weeks now, right? I liked that idea better because I enjoyed that field training part of basic training, I guess more so than the folding your shirts and we shine boots. They don't even do that anymore.
Right. So when Sergeant Ayres and I went through basic training, it was 6.5 weeks. Well, quite a while ago, they moved to an 8.5 week basic training, and that journey from recruit to airman will no longer end in a regimented march on the parade field. Basically, what's going to happen is beginning later in March, there's going to be a new way of doing things at basic. After 7.5 weeks of basic military training, the trainees, they'll have a retreat, and from our understanding, there'll still be some sort of parade per se, but it's not the graduation parade where the family then comes out and hugs you and off you go. So what is going to happen is those recruits, after 7.5 weeks of training, and they do that retreat and they do some sort of march, they will then turn right back around, and for 5 full days, they will then sit in a classroom for an interactive discussion and instruction focused on character development. So civilian facilitators and hand-picked MTIs, military training instructors, will lead newly minted airmen through role-playing exercises and real-life scenarios devised to drive home the Air Force core values of integrity, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Let's hear what Chief Cody has to say. He says, and I quote, "What we expect of airmen as professionals can be dramatically different from the life they've come from. We're going to talk about resiliency, sexual assault, professional relationships, ethics, how we treat each other with dignity and respect."
Well, hopefully, they go through this test phase of this new capstone, course, and then they'll see what results they get. It's like anything else. There's those birth pains at first. If it works, they're going to try and condense it. That's just how the Air Force works. We're going to, 5 days, I bet you we can do it in 2. I bet you we can do it in the last week. They're going to try to find some way to eventually filter this into the actual course, or maybe they stick with it. Maybe it works. Maybe it puts out better airmen. Maybe they have less discipline problems and issues when they get to tech school, because isn't that kind of the idea of why this came about?
So, moving right along, we won't discuss that topic too much further because there still isn't much to know about it, to talk about it, other than it's coming. Change is coming.
Fairchild is having a town hall meeting on Tuesday, February 24th at 10:30 a.m. till about noon. Holly Petraeus, the Assistant Director for the Office of Service Member Affairs for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Man, that's a lot of stuff.
Petraeus. That name sounds familiar.
I believe she's the wife of former General Petraeus.
Ah.
And that could be why that name sounds familiar.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
She will be speaking with base leaders, service members, and military family members about the importance of having a well-rounded financial education. If you'd like more information about attending this town hall meeting, you can contact Angela Traina, and that's Traina. Hopefully I'm not messing her name up, at 509-389-6305.
Also, like we mentioned last week, don't forget the annual award banquet is coming soon, Friday, March 6th at the Doubletree Hotel in Spokane. The banquet tickets are on sale now, so get with your first sergeant or ask your supervisor how you can be part of the shindig. Do they still say that word? I don't know why I just said that word, but it's a shindig.
Welcome to the 1950s. No, I don't know when that word originated. Do you like blacklight?
Uh-huh.
Do you like bowling?
Sure.
Do you like bowling and blacklights together?
What?
Well, the Fun Spot is having Cosmic Bowling on Friday and Saturday, the 20th and the 21st, from 7 to 10 p.m. Bring out the kids. Make sure you wear something white and fluorescent so it looks really cool under the black light. I mean, everything glows. It's a lot of fun. So go check it out at the Fun Spot.
Say, whose scat is that?
What is scat, you say?
Bebop, boop, baby.
No.
Oh.
That would be another word for feces.
I'm sorry, so we want to know whose poop is that?
Kinda, but we're not talking about human. We're talking about animals. And on Saturday, February 21st, from 1 to 2 p.m. at the library on base, Kelly Clark of Exploring Families will be reading the story Who Pooped in the Northwoods by Gary D. Robson. And what this is going to be is a book about different animal feces and what animals those are. And it's not going to be as gross as it sounds, because I originally thought, man, this is just going to be disgusting. But they'll be teaching the kids about, and they're going to use marshmallows and jelly beans and other foods in lieu of using real animal.
Johnny, that's not a raisinette.
Don't pick it up. And after the Scat Snack game, they'll be having a hug-a-tree and a biodiversity bingo. So it's a lot of fun. It's about animals and forestry. And again, that's on February 21st. That'll be Saturday. And this is aimed at kids grades K through 5. So, your older kids may not find it as nearly as interesting.
So, moving from Fairchild to our local community of Spokane, how about for all you people loving the warm weather, the mild winter, the spring is basically on our doorstep? Well, there's the Spokane Golf and Travel Show this weekend.
So it's gotten warmer if you haven't noticed. I mean, unless you're living under a rock, you have to have noticed that this February has not been nearly as cold as February's past. So the golf courses are opening up and people can get some rounds in. This travel show, kind of catering to the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene region, will have 100-plus exhibitors representing golf retailers, golf manufacturers, travel, PGA quick tip instruction. So if you want to know where that hitch in your swing is, they can probably maybe help you out. They'll have seminars from PGA professionals. There's a demo area, a putting contest, long drive contest. You name it. It has to do with golf. They'll have it here. It's going to be at the Spokane Convention Center. It's free for ages 12 and younger. Of course, adults are going to have to, shell out a few shillings for this event. If you want some more information about it or to book tickets, 1-800-325-SEAT, S-E-A-T, or you can go to their website at SpokaneGolfShow.com. And it's 9 to 5 on Saturday and 10 to 4 on Sunday. Don't want to forget that.
4! Another thing happening this Saturday is the 23rd Annual Job Fair at the Riverfront Park. Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
And this will be at the Pavilion Theater on North Howard. And yeah, like you said, from 9 to 1. If you have to be 16 or older by March 10th. So maybe you have kids or you are a child and you want to, I wouldn't say child.
You're a teen.
You're a teen. I spoke out of turn. You're a teen and you'll be 16 by at least March 10th. There's job opportunities out here. Or maybe you're getting out of the military and you want to stay in the local area. This is a good option. Or a spouse. Maybe you just got here and you haven't found a job yet. This is a perfect opportunity to check out some jobs in the local area.
So again, Saturday, job fair, Riverfront Park, 9 to 1. Bring your resume.
And if you would like to contact someone for more information, 509-625-6629.
Well, I believe that does it for you, Sergeant Ayres.
That's it.
That is it. No bells, whistles, no party.
No, it's just me and you.
Just you and me.
In our closet we call an office.
Yeah. And a microphone. And all you loyal listeners out there.
I'll be flying out to Korea at the beginning of March. and it's going to be one long flight from what I hear. And I'll get to spend a night in Seattle and then fly out in the morning and then arrive the next day. Let's see if that puts it into perspective. I've never been to any Pacific countries, so this will be definitely a new experience for me. I've been to a couple European countries, but nothing in the land of Asia.
You know what I find funny is the going away lunch that we're going to have for you. It's at a Korean restaurant before you go to Korea.
That is a bit ironic. I do love Korean food, and I've always liked it. And my sister is half Korean, so she taught my mom how to cook some things. So Korean food has always been a thing I've liked. And now I'm going to go to the place where it originates, and then I will be scarred for life when I come back to the United States and have to eat Korean food here, because I have a feeling that it won't hold a candle to what we'll have experienced there.
Well, it's been a heck of a ride, Sergeant Ayres. Sad to see you go, but excited to hear about the cool things that you'll be doing in Korea. So I guess for old time's sake, one more time, thanks for listening to The Boom!